It's a topic I've seen a lot after I've played Days Gone, and it's a topic I constantly see in both the fan base and like clickbait articles and YouTubers that act like they love the game even though they didn't. And it is the potential of a sequel to Days Gone. I just wanted to kind of bring up the topic and explain, because people are hopeful for no reason. There is no potential sequel to Days Gone. I know it's constantly something that will be brought up time and time again. This isn't gonna stop it, but I just kind of wanted to vent about it because as somebody that liked the game, it is very annoying that people keep taking advantage of, you know, our feelings about it, and they'll be like making a clickbait of like, developers say never say never. And it's like, it's just not the case. So let's get into that for a minute. So for those that don't know, when the original Days Gone came out, it did very badly. It did very badly. Like it did not sell well compared to any other PS exclusive. It did not perform well compared to any PS exclusive, and it did not have the writing of any other exclusive. I liked the game, but at the time it was not good. It was a deserved solid 6. The writing was cringe. Like, I like the characters and dialogue and the way it's performed, but you know, like, the main story is just not that good. The first half is good, second half just derails it, and it ended on a cliffhanger. It didn't do well, basically. That's all there is to it. There is no like anti-woke propaganda that people like to use. He was mad, obviously, because the game didn't do well, but the truth is nobody cared about those reviewers that said like, oh, another basic white man. That does not matter if the game is good. The game wasn't good. It just was not ready to be released, but it did, and it was not functional for a lot of people. It had a lot of game breaking bugs, and beyond that, it just wasn't on par with the other exclusives at the time. If this game had came out on like the Xbox at the time and PC, sure, it would have done a lot better because it would have been compared to just games in general, but it wasn't. This was compared to exclusives like God of War and The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Like, it was not good enough for its competitors at all, which kind of leads to, you know, a lot of disappointment for fans. Don't get me wrong, the game got a lot of support later on, but it was confirmed pretty early on that we would never get a sequel once the directors left the studio. They left for a lot of reasons. There was a lot of infighting in the studio during the development. There was a lot of cut ideas. You can look into it, but the main thing is the game just didn't sell well at the time, and Ben's studio was kind of just relegated to other stuff. In case you're curious, the sequel had good ideas. It was going to be a co-op open world zombie story game, and it was going to follow up on the cliffhanger. You were going to have like superpowers from the Nero checkpoints. It was going to be good. It was going to be a good game, but it doesn't matter because the first game did not do good enough for Sony, and that's it. Sony's not going back to it. This isn't like up for discussion. They just won't, and for many reasons. Obviously, the first one, the directors are gone. There's the two leads of the game are gone. They both left the studio. They have both been very salty towards Sony and Ben studio through Twitter. There's no way they can ever come back. You know, like, besides the game not performing well at its launch and the game's like lead developers leaving, Sony games cost a lot of money to make, and the game was ported to Steam later on, right? And it did very well enough. It got all of the frame fixes, it fixed all the bugs, added a lot more like horde mode challenges and stuff. The game is really good. I recommend you playing it if you haven't since it came out. It is a way better game than it was. It went from like a 6 to an 8.5. It genuinely is a really good time, but nobody really talks about it beyond the people that like it. You know what I mean? It's not like The Last of Us where everybody knows what it is. A lot of people don't even know what Days Gone is. Everybody loves it. Why aren't they bringing it back? Not that many people actually love it. Why would they do it? Why would they make a sequel? You know what I mean? Like, first of all, making a new IP is already like a big, like, that's a big gamble. Making a second game to an IP that failed in its first attempt, that's insane. Or especially with how much games cost to make, how much time it would take. Why would they ever try it again? Like, their games cost too much now. Like, it makes no business sense to try to make a sequel. It would not pan out in a way you would think. They cannot afford to try it. You know what I mean? So yeah, obviously there's not much to talk about here. I'm just kind of rambling because I get it. As a fan of the game, I would love to see the sequel, but I think it's annoying that people constantly bring it up. I see like Reddit threads, which is Reddit, I know, but this is just kind of it. There is There's never going to be a sequel. There just won't be. There's no like, oh, but it's still Ben's. No, they will. I don't care. They're not selling the IP. They never do that. It will not happen. There's too much going on. Ben Studio is doing its own IP now, and if that sells well, maybe in 20 years from now, maybe they're like, hey, let's do a sequel. But at that point, all of the lead devs from Days Gone are gone, and it's like, why? What would it even be by now? You know what I mean? Like, it's just the sequel you want will never happen. That's just the only case here. It will never happen, and I think everybody is better off if they just realize that instead of falling for clickbait every like year. But anyway, this was kind of a useless video. I just wanted to talk about it. But all right, I'm going to bed, so bye.